ears been ringing like crazy. It's that them talking to my app. Sometimes you'll start to hear ringing when it's trying to open up again. That's not them talking. They don't talk in a ring, right? But remember, it's a frequency, right? So you're trying to get on the right frequency so that you can get the information. You need to be doing more meditation. You need to be doing more head cleansings, like full-on head cleansings. I don't know when the last time you had a rogation, but you may need to have a rogation too. But when I say head cleansing, I mean like head washes. You got to clean up the muck and guck so that the frequency is able, it's energy, right? Frequency, it has to move. If there's too much of things piled on, it keeps it from being able to vibrate out the way that it's supposed to. So when you clean that off, it allows for the frequency and the vibration to become clearer. It's a clearer transition. It's a clearer area for you to hear, right? And remember, even because in the beginning, like even still now, sometimes I'll get the ringing in my ear. When I have that, I'll go sit down somewhere, clean myself off, and I'll sit down with energy, right? If you have a Boveda, go sit at your Boveda. If you have an ancestor altar, spend a little time more at your ancestor altar. Make sure you have a candle. Make sure you have water. Make sure that your head is covered, and start seeing what you pick up. Do a quick prayer or do some type of prayer and just sit there quietly and ask them, does anybody, I need to know if there's a message that I need, if there's information that I need, if there's something that I need. I'm trying to give y'all my ear right now for y'all to communicate it with me. I'm going to try to hear it this way. Give me a vision. Give me something. And sometimes you won't get nothing. Sit there quietly. Sometimes you don't get nothing. Sometimes it's just the energy between you and them. What do we do sometimes? We used to do this all the time, even with the ancestors, right? When you're going through something and you don't know where to go, right? So we use the book of Psalms. We use the Bible for prayer all the time. I come from a line of preachers. I tell you, so looking at me, you wouldn't think that, but I come from a line of preachers and spiritual churchy folk, right? I also come from the brujas, right? The witches, the paleros, all of that. I come from all of that's in my line. But we still use the Bible because we know that the Bible are words, and words have power, and there's prayers there that my ancestors have read over and over and over again. They've used these prayers over and over and over again. So they know what chapter, what book, what verse I need in that moment that's going to give them a charge of energy, and that's going to help me feel better. Why? Because their energies are coming close, because they know these words. They know what's being asked of them. They know what my intention is. They know what I'm going through. They know what I'm feeling. You guys have to understand that the time that we spend with our spirits' energies, they give us that energy back a lot when we need it. When we're low and we're feeling out of sorts, or we're feeling just not ourselves, that's the time to go over there and sit there and talk to them and get some of that energy that you've been dishing out all day, every day for the last X, Y, and Z years. They're going to give that back to you. And they'll find a way to get you the assistance that you need, to get you the clarity that you need, to give you the message for the day, whether it come up through your feed, whether it come through a song, whether it comes through something that you've seen for the day. They are going to make sure, as long as you're open to it. But you got to be open to receive. You got to be clean, right? Clean energy, clean hands, clean hearts, clean tongues, clean minds. You can't be out here doing people dirty and thinking that you're going to get something good back. That's not how that works, babes. I had a dream where I clearly heard myself say, I got this, but I wasn't me. I looked down and had some gorgeous leather hide pants in huge toes. What you been doing with your Indios? What have you been doing with your Indios? Because I know you got some back there. There's certain energies. Remember I said Mazama's specific to you. Gitanas, specific to you. Your Indians, specific to you. Your natives, specific to you. Certain Congo energies, I didn't say Palo. Certain Congo energies are specific to you. Remember, if they lived a life on this plane, that was a person at some point. That person's energy worked with you. They don't work with me. I don't know your energy. I don't know your madama. If I'm doing a reading and they're talking, that's when I'll get the information, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? My ladies are my ladies. Your ladies are your ladies. What are you doing with your Indio? He's saying we're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. You are going to be all right, but you got to trust the process. And then, like, what do you do with them, right? Do you, and you have to remember, when they're saying, oh, Indio, right? You got to know what kind of Indio you got. Is it a chief? Because his headdress is different than a warrior's headdress. The medicine man looks different. The Indian women and the Indian girls, their energies are not the same. Because I remember one time I was doing a reading for somebody, and we know she had an Indian, but we were trying to figure out what it was. So we asked about a woman. They were like, no. I said, ask if it's a girl. They said yes. So it's specific questions. Like, you can't say female. All right, female, what? Is it a lady or is it a girl? Right? They're younger energy, so you got to know who it is. Right? And then you got to know, well, what do they do? I got some that read tarot cards. They do all kinds of stuff that you wouldn't think of, right? But for the men, the chiefs and them, there's certain things that they need, right? There's certain things that they like. Remember, when I'm doing my research and I'm reading certain books and certain things, and I have old books. I have really old books. And when you're dealing with the natives, the women used to be the ones that set up when they went when they went to different areas to live, habitate, whatever. The women would be the ones to go and set up the tents and the living quarters, right? They would be the ones to set up everything, right? So what do you give them? Well, what would they have had with them? They would have had rolls of furs, skins. They would have had dried herbs and things hanging. They would have had grains, dried jerkies, fruit, nuts, berries, those types of things. They would have had cornmeal. They would have had rum. They would have had cigars. They would have had pipes. They would have had hatchets. They would have had knives. They would have had bows and arrows. They would have had skins. They would have had certain kinds of bows and arrows. Certain kinds of arrows. Look into the rocks and the crystal, because a lot of the crystals would shave down to make arrowheads. Look at the different types of arrowheads. Look at the different types of feathers that they would use for the smudging, right? Coffee, always, right? Some of them rode horses. So would you have something of a horse? Quite possibly, right? Moccasins. Maybe you might need a pair of those. This man, you said he was barefoot. Okay, but he had leather pants, so skins and things of that nature. You got corn all the time, right? Grilled the corn. You know what I do? I have wood bowls. I get a bunch of wood bowls and stuff like that, and I use jicaras and that type of stuff. And sometimes I'll go around the house and make little care packages for my warrior energies. All of those. I'll make little care packages, and it'll have all kinds of. I found these exotic jerkies, right? So I buy bison, like old school shit. Elk. They do the salmon. They do the duck. They do like all of those types of things, like bison and elk. Those and buffalo. I buy that kind of stuff. These places in Colorado, and I found it off the internet, they make gourmet jerkies, right? I'll make a packet of that. I'll put some dried nuts. I'll put the corn. I'll put fruit. I'll put those types of things, and I'll give it to them, because remember, if they have to go out and fight for me, this is home for them. They remember this. They remember the women packing these packets for them and them going off to do what they had to do, but knowing that they always had food. You know what I'm saying? They always had something to nosh on. Their bellies were filled. If they caught something and they cooked it over the fire, that's one thing, but they always had something to sustain them. I need them to be sustained. Feel me? To do the work for me that I need them to do in the spiritual realm while I'm working here in the physical realm. The things that we give them here, in the physical is for them to use on the spiritual realm, for them to do what they need to do for us. So I need to make sure that they have sustenance, that they remember that they have the things that they need. What was maize? Maize is corn that they made sure that the children were fed and they were able to eat, right, and provide for their young. They made all kinds of things out of corn, right? That's one of the staples that I give them all the time. I'll give them a shot glass with cornmeal in it, but I'll also give them corn. I'll give them toasted corn. If I make corn on my grill, I'll make sure that it's in the husk. I'll pull the strings out, clean it, put the husk back on it, put foil around it, and I grill the corn, right? I do that for Alegwa too. I have an issue of the world that's outside. He make me go take him shit like that too. Cornbread, all that kind of stuff. They get all of that kind of stuff. Listen, I had made a bargain with all of these energies. At some point my spirit has, because that's why they're here. So it's my responsibility to make sure that I take care of me, but I take care of them so that they can take care of me. I'm thinking beyond just the physical of this. I'm thinking on a spiritual level. What was your life like? What did you have to do? What did you sustain you? What do you remember? What did you have? I'm going to make sure that you have something of that so that you can do your job well for me. That's like everybody, y'all, when you get with your man, you want an engagement ring. Why? You want the promise of a marriage and all this other kind of stuff. You want to show that this is whatever you want to show, right? You want something. You want recognition. This is how you recognize.